Welcome back to the one channel that's a little bit too dedicated to life skilling for it to be healthy. My name's Teddy, and today is going to be all about cooking. From leveling to guru to how to start making more money from cooking. So if you find this helpful, leave a like, hype this up, and let's just jump right into this. Cooking in Black Desert can either be a complete nightmare or extremely easy once you get the hang of it. Taking a look at the cooking level, this increases the amount of dishes average per craft and unlocks more recipes to cook. Cooking Mastery does more with increases the chances of activating mass cooking, which uses 10 times the ingredients to cook 10 dishes at once. The higher your mastery, the higher the chances of your max dishes, the chances of higher grade dishes, and a chance of max higher grade dishes. Finally, Mastery increases the amount of money that can be made during Imperial Deliveries. Performing cooking can only be done using a cooking utensil placed inside the Olvia dorm, using the Academy public utensils, or by placing the cooking utensils inside either the rented house or manor. You'll either do cooking using one cycle or multiple batches dependent on how many materials are held, and you'll need a ton of materials from either gathering manually, setting up a worker empire for the ingredients you need, or they can be bought off the central market. Lastly, get familiar with the crafting notes by hitting F2 on the keyboard and going inside the crafting notes in the corner. Websites like BDolytics is also good for the recipes or just anything crafting in general. Simply looking up the recipe and maps could help cutting cooking costs and make you more money in the long run. With the basic overview done, there's only one way to start with any life skill now, and that's with the Olvia Academy. Once you graduate the season, completing the quest will teach the basics of cooking, but most importantly gives you a free Rojiro cook clothes, ladle, and butcher knife. The Cooking Academy Pass section also rewards a ton of cooking experience and a vital crystal. All of this will do until needing to upgrade to your pen manas. You'll get a free cook's clothes awarded from the challenge tab, or they can be bought from the luxury vendor. These can then be made into a costume using a tailoring coupon for plus 10% cook experience, or the Kanape costume can be bought from the Pearl shop for the plus 15 cooking experience and -2 seconds on cook time. For accessories, 2 femoros are obtained from the season journey seals, 1 from the life skills season and femoros quest from Liana, and the last 2 are from the farming courses in the academy. Because the femoros are a family bound manas that cannot be enhanced, and we only get 5 out of 6, you'll either have to use a base Logia or Garanoa that can be bought from either Zarya and Velia, or you can just buy one off the central market. Like the clothes, these will do until you start working on getting your full Prion accessories. Artifacts will be a little basic at first with either the life experience or the mastery, but as you start to do the Imperial Delivery cookboxes, you'll have a chance to proc the bonus quest for the plus 5% cooking experience or the plus 10 cooking mastery artifacts. We have 2 lifestone combinations for cooking, like the fundamentals of cooking, reducing the cook time by 2 seconds, gives plus 10% cooking experience, plus 20 cooking mastery, and increases weight by 30. The other combination is going to be purely for power leveling. This is the choice and focus cooking. This will drop your mastery down by 500, but gives you a massive plus 35% cooking experience. Crystals have the same path as all the other life skills. They'll start with the dim crystals earned from the challenge tab or can be bought off the central market for plus 3% life experience. Next are the life crystals for plus 5% life experience and the vital crystal for plus 10 mastery. Both can be made from the forest crystal or can be bought off the central market. The best crystals will be the breathing Vidir crystals for plus 7% life experience and plus 15 mastery, made by combining the vital and life crystals, or can just be bought off the central market. Once you get a full set of Prion accessories, you'll unlock the Dawn Crystal slots at the bottom, where you can slot the Wan, Bon, or Jin Dawn Crystal life experience found by gathering, or they can just be bought off the central market too. Alchemy stones will start out small, getting the Stellar Life Stone from the Gathering Academy Pass. This reduces the cook time by 1.1 second, gives 60 to weight, and plus 100 to mastery, but it cannot be repaired and they're extremely rare. So the next best choice will be the Trian's Tier from completing the Life 101 questline from Volgir. This gives plus 30% life experience, reduces cook time by 1 second, and finally gives plus 50 to weight. Stepping up are the Alchemy Stones of Life. The Resplendent Alchemy Stone will be the best one to work on first, with reducing the cook time down by 1.7 second and increases the weight by 90. All the Life Alchemy Stones can be crafted or bought off the central market and won't break when enhancing. It will, however, take a lot of time and silver if you're unlucky with the enhancing. The Khan's Heart is going to be the last alchemy stone you'll want, but not for the stats, but for the plus 25 mastery for just wearing. These will then be combined with the resplendent or higher life alchemy stones for the stats, making them the best in slot afterwards. The Khan's Heart can also be crafted or just bought off the central market. Life pets are all reskin, coming with plus 1% life experience per tier and a chance to learn the plus 5% cooking experience skill. Free ones are given out during the pet quest, can be bought off the central market, or can be bought from the pro shop. Weight pets can also be used too for plus 50 to weight at tier 4, but you lose out on the 1% life experience per tier. These, however, can only be bought from the pro shop. The Capper's Journal of Nature is a good item to grab later on for the plus 10% life experience, but it can take a little bit longer from completing the Capper's record found in the Crow Merchant section of your adventure log bookshelf. I have a guide for completing that down below alongside any useful guides for helping out with cooking. Lastly, we have the little otter or papu cooking and alchemy carriers. These are great for adding plus 100 to cooking mastery, plus 20% cooking experience, and reduces cooking time by another 1 second. These unfortunately can only be bought from the pro shop, but are worth the purchase if you're really into cooking and alchemy. Staying enrolled in the alchemy instead of graduating early has a few perks for cooking. Not only will you have access to a free house to place utensils down, but you'll also have access to the public tools that can be used with no durability loss on them when using. They'll have the slowest cook time out of all the tools in the game. Renting a storage chest from any main city storage keeper for 10 contribution, or buying a premium container for 1,200 pearls instead can be placed down in the dorm to cut the travel time to the storage. But if you're not enrolled and you still need a great housing location, I suggest either choosing Olvia 6-1 or 7-1 for how close they are to the Imperial Delivery and the storage. Idle 1-1 for the distance between the storage and the Imperial Keep. And finally, Elton 2 since it's directly over top the storage and the central market while being across the street from the Imperial Delivery at the same time. Keep in mind, the more storage slots you have in the city, the more ingredients or dishes that can be stored. Unlocking more storage can either be done using loyalty, some are given out during events, or can be bought using pearls. As for tools, the first tool I'll suggest is the easy to craft using any level 3 tool workshop or can be bought off the central market, the advanced cooking utensil. This will have -1 second on cooking time reduction and 900 durability. Next we have the Land of the Morning Light cooking tools made over in any Land of the Morning Light tool workshop or can be bought from the central market. These have the same 1 second time reduction but comes with 3000 durability. Now the best are going to be the Supreme Cooking Utensils that will reduce the time by another 1 second and comes with 5000 durability for longer cooking sessions. Getting one can be done by the Dark Greed from killing Rift bosses, Golden Seals from Imperial Cooking, killing world bosses during events, given out during events, and 500 loyalty points can also be used. Utensils can be repaired using the repair kits made from taking the advance to Island Bartali here in Villia Inn, or any NPCs listed in the tooltip. The Land of the Morning Light can be converted at Old Lady Mayong in Nampo, or the other NPCs on the tooltip. And lastly, Supremes can be converted at Island Bartali here in Villia Inn, or any NPCs listed in the tooltip. All utensils have to be at full durability in order to exchange. And before you ask, no, durability reduction will not affect the utensil's durability. Next up, weight is going to be extremely important with holding cooking ingredients for longer cooking sessions or even when using an ult. The more weight you have, the more dishes and fundamentally the more money that can be made. Ways to increase your max weight include the old school method of carrying trade goods on your back after eating the chicken soup for the plus 20% strength experience, eating Dalbo Gukbap, or the best way is going to be drinking the Finto sweet juice. The Shy can be used, coming with the light bag skill, increasing max weight for each level that stacks with the normal weight skill that every other class has. There's no other real bonuses for cooking other than the weight, so don't worry if you're using a different class instead. A weight crystal preset can also be used at the cost of mastery and the life experience. 4 Han Gerbish crystals, 8 Ancient Hystria, 2 Wan Cobalinus, and 2 Bon Hystria offers a total of plus 460 to weight. The golden coral belts grant a huge amount of weight but no mastery or life experience, and higher mastery belts has the increased weight, mastery, and the life experience. Finally, loyalty can be used to increase weight by 50 up to 6 times for a max of 300 weight, and more weight can be bought using pearls instead. We have a ton of options to manually gather all the ingredients needed, but to save time, I'm only going to list the easiest ones. You'll be able to gather thousands quickly that workers unfortunately cannot. At the top of the list, we have all the meats. Killing the boars here in the northern wheat plantation for gathering or sniper hunting out in the lands of the morning light is a good way to gather almost all the meat needed for cooking. You can also choose to kill the rhinos or any type of wolves too. We have gathering lion meat out in Ancando Harbor, or matchlock hunting the shadow lions out in Narcion. Yaks can be found here near the Shuriken Iron Mine. Llamas can be found outside of Duvenkroon. And lastly, snakes and scorpions can be found outside of Shira Ruins to save time. Milk is another important cooking ingredient, with the only way to gather them being milking the cows at the farms like Olvia here, Valorous Dirt Farm here in Calphion, or outside Grana near the well. Milk can also be earned from exchanging 10 witches' delicacy for 120 milk. Flowers like roses, tulips, and sunflowers can be found all around the northern wheat plantation. Underwater seafood like oysters or lobsters, for example, can be gathered here at Anaha Island. Rainbow mushrooms have to be gathered out here at Poly Forest. Delosha can be gathered over here near Saloon's border. Of course, you can go out and manually gather all of the other ingredients, but with how low the values are for the time it takes, it's easier to rely mainly on farming in fences, your worker empire, or buying what you need off the central market. There's also vendors around that sells cooking ingredients, like the fruit merchants in Calphion here, or Elton for example, which can easily be found using the search option next to the mini map in the corner of the screen here. You'll be able to buy any fruit and paprika at a higher price than the central market to save time. Help get the ingredients needed for any dish. There's quite a few worker nodes we can throw workers on. Starting off, we have the staple Bartali farm here in the Balanos region for the chicken meat, eggs, and potatoes. Pinto farm has the same nodes, but will cost one more contribution than Bartali's. Tuscany farm has 2 corn subnodes. Asta farms next to Olvia has grapes, and the Will farm has olives. Down in Serindia, how can you go wrong with taking the cooking honey and pumpkin from Alejandro farm subnodes? Heading down to the Calphion region, the northern wheat plantation has wheat, barley, and paprika subnodes. For fish, an easy subnode to take is the Circa Island for the dried mullet. Moving on to Medea, we have the nodes like Castla farm here for the cinnamon. Jury farm has sweet potatoes if it reduces the crafting cost of the recipe. Death has a couple different nodes if you have the lodging, like here at the Capudia node. The Bazaar farmland alongside Nutmeg. Then, moving out to Valencia, we have more Tef nodes at Atlas Farms next to Ancondo Inner Harbor, and 2 more at Frolam Farms here in Valencia City. Rica, Pistachio, and Date Palm can be found here at Valencia Plantation. Hurdle Farm has more Date Palm. Over in Arahaza Palm Forest has 2 nodes for coconuts. Moving down to the Iris Canyon has more nutmeg and star anise if you need some. Bamboo Valley has more freeca. Shakatu Farmland has 2 for figs and 1 star anise subnode. Down in the Mountain of Eternal Winter region, we have the Mazelan Eula Citron Orchard for obviously the citron. Now we can move up to the Land of the Morning Light. Sogaji Forest has bracken to gather. Nopse County has rice, Napa cabbage, and a radish subnode. Then Godu Village has 2 rice, a Napa cabbage, and another radish. These are just some of the worker nodes for some of the important cooking dishes. There are others, but you'll still have to rely on hunting and manually gathering or the central market to get a lot of the materials. Next up, we have defense farming. Out of all the crops you're able to farm in your personal fence, there's a few to keep to ensure easier cooking on the higher meals like the Valencia or the Balanos meals, for example. Keeping sunflower, hot pepper, onion, pepper, and garlic are the most important ingredients you'll go through the most with cooking. I suggest having a good amount of both mysterious and magical crops going, of whichever one you're choosing to farm. Mysterious seeds when harvested will provide a ton more produce, whereas breeding magicals will produce ingredients, more seeds to keep the process going. Special hot peppers, onion, pepper, and garlic can all be converted down a grade using Camilla Logia here or any NPC listed on their tooltip. Just be careful with the exchanges, however. Only the special grades can be converted down to both green and white. High quality is locked to being green like white and cannot be converted upwards either. Ideally, you want to get 10 fences if choosing the farm for the cooking ingredients with how many slots the crops will take and the sheer amounts of ingredients needed. You can use as many farms as you want. Using 10 will just speed up the process and keep the amount of bottlenecks lower. To help out with some recipes, you'll normally have to place the exact amount of white grade crops into the pot to make the recipe, but when using high quality crops, it can reduce the amount needed by 2, then special reduces the amount by 3. This doesn't reduce the crafting cost of the dish most times, but it will make it easier to cook. Now we can start dealing with the cooking buffs once you have the material locations figured out. We'll always have the value pack, Kama's Blessing, and the secret book, The Old Moon buffs from the Pearl Shop. The seafood crunch meal offers a 0.6% reduction on your cook time, plus 10% life experience, plus 100 to weight, and plus 25 to mastery. The Royal Workshop also has the Aljutang for plus 500 life mastery and plus 100 to weight, or the Lower Gold Japan for the plus 300 mastery and plus 50 to weight. The assorted kimchi gives plus 250% life experience and 100 to weight, or the lesser tricolor namul has plus 150 life experience or 50 to weight. Next up, we have the usual Vidir draft for the -1 second to the cook time, plus 20% life experience and plus 200 to weight. The Perfume of Swiftness provides 200 to weight and plus 20 to life experience. Laura's Warm Black Tea applies plus 30% life experience and 100 to weight. As for the books and scrolls, for logging in each day, we get the Mercenary Life for plus 50% life experience, and combining 3 will increase it up to 150%. The Secret Book of Florin and Gia Van Grolen scrolls will add plus 100 to mastery, plus 20 to life experience, and can both be stacked. Either the plus 50% life experience scroll or the Book of Life can be used. And finally, we have the GM's Blessing that also adds plus 10% life experience. The Turning Gates buff can be popped for another plus 10% life experience, either using the Nefart tent outside of town, or the scrolls can be bought if you have the Secret Book The Old Moon buff active. The outdated and unloved Krogdalo donkey set applies, plus 3% life experience for 1 piece, plus 5% experience for 3 pieces, and plus 10% for a full set. These can be made at the Stonetail Horse Ranch or Skier Workshop, or can be bought from the Central Market. The Guru's Touch Guild buff applies, plus 50% life experience and plus 50 to life mastery while in a guild with an active contract. Then we have the Black Spirit that's able to burn 100 energy for plus 20% life experience. Events like Hot Times can increase the life experience while active, and sometimes there's a cooking event with Dalashino. And finally, other buffs like the Wise Housekeeper buff or any given out during events can be used, but these are rare and you should save these for any longer power leveling sessions. With enough buffs, you can get 1 second cooking even without using the Kanape clothes or having the higher cooking gear. But now, let's talk about the cooking quests you can find around Black Desert. In the suggested tab of your quest log, we have the Cooking Guru quest that'll show you different recipes while giving you a huge amount of experience if completing after unlocking. Next up, in the recurring tab, we have the Liana weekly to earn Wish's Delicacy and the daily to turn in whatever Imperial cooking box bracket you're currently leveled at when accepting. Scrolling down, we have the Bartali Farm Egg Daily quest when it's actually working. Completing this easy quest will give 200 eggs and a small 100 contribution experience. The fundamentals of cooking quest isn't exactly listed in the logs, but is used for crafting the Manus ladle. This can be accepted at Valk's over here in Calafian, and making the professional satisfying dinner meals will require lesser dishes, making it perfect to spam for the experience. While cooking, there's a small chance to proc either a bonus cooking or emergency quest for cooking dishes like pickled vegetables or vinegar for cooking experience contribution and your choice of high quality crops used in guru meals. Also, when Imperial delivering boxes, you'll have a chance to proc the bonus quest for the Laura Lightstones and either the generic or actual cooking experience and mastery artifacts. There's other quests around Black Desert for cooking dishes like the Mirandora quest to cook the random meal for the Mirandora's elements, but that's mainly for training. And speaking of power leveling, you can't have a cooking guide without the means to power level all the way up to Guru, and with cooking, it's easier than with alchemy. Starting out, I recommend making the grilled bird meat, cooked rice, beer, or pickled vegetables, just to name a few. Other than the workers gathering the most important ingredients, all the other ingredients can be bought from any cooking vendor, allowing for easy experience and a little bit of money on the side for almost nothing. After the dishes, you can start making the prerequisite dishes for the higher meals for Guru boxes, or focusing on making boxes around your cooking bracket to earn the golden seals. Like alchemy, your focus for leveling should be around what dishes have the easiest materials to either buy or gather to spam thousands for hours. You'll have a small chance of getting the witch's delicacy byproduct, which is perfect for leveling cooking early on, requiring contribution for more workers. And once the cooking experience has slowed down, I suggest using the cooking delicacies on either beer for balanced meals and workers, or milk to avoid any bottlenecks, since alchemy can earn more byproducts to build the worker empire faster. Trying to make money with cooking can be a little bit harder with the ingredients costing low, the dishes unable to sell for most of the time on the central market, and the Imperial boxes making less than other life skills for the effort it takes to get the dishes made. But there are some ways to still make a little bit of profit with your cooking. I recommend getting familiar with sites like Videolytics for figuring out at least the basics of the crafting cost of each recipe. Even though most of the newer items in game are probably not fully on the site, the older recipes, the central market values, settings, and anything else are still there and will help out. Next, when choosing a recipe from the list, make sure to open each ingredient category to show each step to get the full value of each item. Change the ingredients to the lowest valued ones on the central market to cut down on crafting cost. And the big thing to pay attention to is the settings for your mastery and your cook times. Changing these will affect the amount of dishes and money to be expected back, though the numbers won't always be as accurate as they should be. At least it will give you an idea. This will also go by your region central market's value too. Just because I can make money selling bird meat on NA doesn't mean you'll be able to make any money selling the same dish on EU, for example. Just double check the prices of the ingredients compared to the dish value before you waste time and ingredients thinking you're making a profit when you're losing out on extra silver. Profits mainly come from the self-made meals, selling higher grade dishes, and using the lesser dishes for the Imperial Deliveries, but be warned, you won't make as much money as you would doing any other life skill and obviously mob grinding. One final thing, if using an alt, make sure to increase its mastery as high as you can and use your best gear, or you'll lose out on the extra dishes and money that can be made. I don't know how many times I sat down to cook 1,000 meals and missed out on hundreds not paying attention to my cooking mastery. Like I already mentioned, Imperial Deliveries are an easy way to earn up to a bill a week or more just for cooking. Each cooking level bracket has their own cook boxes to make using recipes often spanned for the cooking experience, like beer or cooked rice for example. Using the Imperial Cooking tab on Videolytics will help sort which ones will make money for either buying the ingredients or the dishes off the central market to make the boxes, or just being self-made. Not every dish will make more money from being self-made than being bought off the central market, so be sure to double check before committing to the dish or you'll lose out on the extra money too. Next, both cooking and alchemy boxes can be turned in at the same time each day. So if you've already turned in your medicine boxes, don't worry, your cook boxes can also still be turned in. The delivery amount is based off your total contribution points you have, and when selling the boxes, the mastery is applied to the sale after and is reflected in the money given out. So don't pay attention to the base value given. You can either check your loot log for the money you've made, or if you have no silver in your inventory, just look in your inventory after delivering. Imperial cook boxes can be packaged using the package cord bought from any Old Moon vendor. You will need to complete Cooking Imperial quest Caroline in Heidel has for the knowledge to use the cords with at least Artisan 1 processing or higher. Either a batch of 10 can be made, or 100 using Blackstone powder with the dishes and the cords can be batched. The Imperial cook boxes don't get any distance bonuses and will sell at a set value of 250%. Now for turning in the boxes, you'll get the Imperial Cuisine Golden Seals. These seals can be used for a few things, like the Manos Cook Clothes for a staggering 10k seals, the Manos Butcher Knife and Tanning Knife for another 10k, Supreme Tools, milk, and eggs. I suggest getting your Manos first if you can't craft or buy them from the central market, then focus on getting a nice supply of Supreme Tools, then milk and eggs to avoid any bottlenecks. And there you go. Unfortunately, this should be everything to help get you started with cooking, either power leveling or trying to make a small amount of profit. Cooking just isn't like the other life skills, being able to make more money for the effort being put into, and most of the recipes make more money from the actual self-gathering instead of selling on the central market or the Imperial delivering. Let me know what you feel about cooking and if the values of either the ingredients should be increased, meals, or even if we need more uses of the cooking ingredients to do something about the lack of money cooking can make. I only suggest cooking worker and pet feeds, or maybe even the Imperial deliveries daily if you remember about it. But with how easy it is to make money with like training, let alone the better money makers like hunting or even just AFK fishing at Velia Beach, cooking really is kind of slacking. If you did find this helpful, however, and you want to see more life skilling content for Black Desert, be sure to check out the channel for more. And with all of that out of the way, it's back to figuring out real life. I'll try to have new content up this week, but bear with me until I can figure out a job and a place to live. But as always, I'll see you guys in the next guide. Keep cooking out there, everyone.